there any books that you've read, 3 at least, that you'd want to share with our book-loving viewers all over the world?
Sure. So I've read several books, but there are 3 that stood out to me that are not related to science at all. So the first one is Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, and he advocates for financial independence and building of wealth. And one takeaway from that for me also was, in life, we need a balance between education and entrepreneurship. And the second book that I read is The Resource Curse, or also known as The Paradox of Plenty, by Saeed Mashed. And in that book, he talks about the correlation between countries that have abundant resources and poverty. And he states that having resources is actually a curse than a blessing. And the third book, which tries to go deep into that theory, is The Development of Underdevelopment by Andre Gunder Frank, right? So Andre, he proposes a theory about the development theory, that the world is made up of 4 different groups, in which at the center of these groups are the wealthy nations. But he describes the periphery of the periphery. These are the nations in the periphery, which are the developing countries. And he states that resources, natural resources from these periphery groups, there's a flux from these poor countries into richer nations. And rich nations, there's a flux of finished products and goods into the developing countries. And that itself, that model, makes developing countries to be just consumers, right? And he suggests that, for us to be able to solve this, it's not enough by just coming up with a development policy. It's not enough. But what we also need to understand is what were the economic and social policies that were implemented by these countries, these poor countries, that made them to be poor. So if we can understand that, we can come up with a solution. So it's really an interesting book.